Hi guys, this is Chris from Team Builder with Byte and welcome along to our walkthrough build guide. So the plans which we're about to run through are actually the ones which we use ourselves to actually build all of these items. So you're getting exactly what we do. And this thing that you've got in front of you here is our bamboo spinner, and you've probably seen it being used for all sorts of animals from meerkats through to otters, and they are brilliant, really great. You can adapt them in different ways if you want to, but I'm going to show you the basic version and then you can take it how you want to. So the timber which we actually use for this is 80mm timber, so 80mm in diameter, and is really not a lot to it in all honesty. So I'm just going to leave these on screen just for the moment, so you can kind of get a bit of an idea of exactly what you need. So because of the angles which you've got on these bits of timber, so you can see here you've got these exact 45-degree angles here, you're probably going to want to use like a bench saw, or at least get your timber marked up really well before you go ahead and cut, because actually these angles are going to become very important later on so that you don't have any gaps in the woodwork, and you'll see what I mean when we get to it. These two pieces of timber here, you can see that we've got these notches cut out, and these notches go halfway across the timber. Okay, so obviously if it's 80mm timber which you're using, then this needs to be 40mm across. Okay, and then the actual size of this cut here needs to then be the same width of this bit of timber. It's going to make more sense later on. So basically that is 80mm, and then the actual cut itself is 40mm. Okay, and then of course you've got your bamboo, and you also need a piece of threaded rod, and you're going to need some screws to put this together. So depending on what you're using it for, make sure you use nice strong screws, or ones which can pull up with the weather as well if it's going to be left outside. We tend to use coach screws for this kind of thing, and they work really nicely. They're very strong. So let's get to it. So we're going to start off with one of these pieces which you have already cut. I'm not going to put any more measurements on screen until the end, okay? So you can always go back and take a little look at those. So first thing you're going to do is attach this front piece here. So obviously we're using the coach screws from the side through into this round piece of timber just here. Depending on what screws you're using, you might need to do a pilot hole if you don't want to split the woods, but I mean, hopefully you'll be okay if you've got some with thread. Okay, and then you've got this bit of timber down the back here as well. And once you've got those together, you're going to pop the other side on, and that is your base complete. So it's literally just 4 pieces of wood, very, very nice and simple. So we start to get a little bit more complicated now, and that is why your angles are incredibly important. So once again, you'll be attaching this with your screws going up through into this. As you can see just around here how it would sit on top. And then you put your next piece in. So you can see those angles which you cut earlier on, they now mean that all of this sits together beautifully without any gaps in between here, which you might be able to get claws or fingers or things stuck inside. So getting those angles at the beginning is important. So you can see how it would sit completely straight onto this. So if it's kind of leaning out a bit of an angle, definitely go back and re-screw that. You're going to need this to be nice and straight. So you'll see that we've actually got a hole drilled in one of these arms. Okay, and this is what the threaded rod is going to sit into. So the actual hole itself is half the depth of the timber. So obviously we're using 80mm timber here, which means that this hole is going to be 40mm. So I might be tempted to go just a little bit more, but basically the actual threaded rod itself is going to sit inside that, and it sits halfway across. So this is what the piece of bamboo is going to slide onto. Now the idea obviously is that the bamboo itself can spin around. You can put food down through the top there, but you don't want it spinning so much that it might knock an animal in the face as it comes back around. So the actual hole itself, which we've drilled through the center here, is literally just above the center line. So if you measure the full length of this, so this is 320 mils, it means that the hole itself is just over, literally only just over the halfway line. So it can spin, but if you had too much weight on the bottom, if it gets pushed up, it could then obviously swing back around and clip the animal in the face. So before you put the other side on, you're going to want to match the hole in exactly the same spot as on the other side. Okay, so this obviously is going to be completely across. So what I would normally do here is to actually attach these two pieces together. Don't attach it to the base, and then actually just move it across up next to this so you can see where the hole is, and you can mark exactly where that hole is going to go so you can get them matched up exactly. Once again, this hole only needs to be 40 mils deep. Okay, so once you've got your hole drilled in there, before you attach this onto the base, you're going to want to pop your threaded rod across, slide your piece of bamboo onto it, and then attach your arm in place. So there's not needed any nuts or anything like that, because it's the actual arms itself which keep that thread and the bamboo in place. So as you can see, it's very simple. Okay, so you've got 4 pieces of timber for the base, 4 pieces for the arms, and then of course the bamboo and the threaded rod just there. So I'll put these on screen again. But I mean, if you want to make this wider and so you can fit like 2 pieces of bamboo on it, that's amazing. What I would recommend though, because of the size of the bamboo itself and the fact that they're always kind of odd shapes, is to just sort of put some washers in between the bamboo. But it's as I mentioned, it's very simple, very, very easy to do. Just make sure you get all of these cuts perfect before you move on. Anyway, guys, thanks for joining us. Let us know what you use this for. We love to sort of see the content that you guys make, and what animals obviously you use it with, and if you make any adaptions as well. So thanks a lot. Take care.